welcome to today's edition of the Art Bulletin. My name is Dumisudumedi, and we really appreciate your staying with us. This year's Jozi Film Festival will highlight the very best in filmmaking, presenting a multi-genre slate of films from emerging and established filmmakers, exploring a broad range of topics that affect our communities and stir our hearts and minds. The third annual Jozi Film Festival takes place between the 21st and 23rd of February.
This year it's different to the last 2 years in that we have gone international. So we have a lineup of both local and international films for our Jozi audiences this year. Going international was something we thought about long and hard. We started this festival 2 years ago only with Joburg films and promoting Joburg filmmakers. And we thought about it, we were approached by international filmmakers, wanting to get involved. And we've also responded to what our audiences want to see. When we have had international films on the Jozi theme in our lineup, they've proved very popular. So, we've listened to our audiences and we've listened to filmmakers out there, and we think there's room for both in our lineup. So let's see how it works this year. We have something for everybody at this year's festival. We've got a multi-genre slate. We've got short films, we've got documentaries, we've got films on conservation, feature films, a lot of premieres, student films, there's something for everyone.
The three-day-long Cape Town Art Fair will kick off on the 28th of February at the V&A Waterfront. With over 30 galleries participating in the fair, it's set to be a feast of visual arts. The fact that the mother city is this year's World Design Capital is expected to boost the art fair's attendance figures. Among the galleries that will participate at the second annual Cape Town Art Fair are 34 Fine Art, Artist Proof Studio, Blank Projects, Commune 1, Ebony, and Frank Hubert Arts Center, to mention a few. Heading the art fair as main curator is the respected Andrew Lamprecht, who will be joined by guest curator Ernestine White. The fair's special projects program will see Josh Ginsberg assemble a series of micro-exhibitions using works loaned from galleries, private collections, friends, colleagues, and booths at the art fair itself. Works from as far as Senegal, Benin, and Sierra Leone will also participate in the show. The Cape Town Art Fair ends on the 2nd of March. American conceptual artist Hank Willis Thomas' first solo exhibition titled History Doesn't Laugh opens at the Goodman Gallery later this month. The exhibition appropriates South African imagery, graphics and audio in a confrontation of the country's recent history as well as its parallels to the history of the United States.
I've always been interested in kind of how notions of history are framed the way that we see ourselves, meaning like the stories that we're told about our history affect the way that we see ourselves and walk through the world. And there's this way where I'm really interested in looking back at history and trying to question things and find new perspectives that we can find new things about ourselves. And so when I say history doesn't laugh, I'm actually thinking about it's kind of a joke, because it's just supposed to be so serious and it's not supposed to be refuted. And so like, how do you kind of challenge that or question that or rethink things that we thought once were so like fixed? It entails sculpture, photography, prints, video installation. It's a lot of new work for me, so I'm kind of excited to see kind of what the response will be.
Durban-based singer Zoe Masuku, who's known to her fans as Zoe the Seed, will host her show titled Embrace Love at the Rainbow Theatre in the Banana City's Morningside. The Swazi-born singer and composer will feature 3 guest musicians in the production that celebrates the month of love. The show will be on next Saturday at 7 p.m.
It's very experimental, purely influenced by jazz, especially. But I write mostly in Siswati, which is my mother language, and people find it very interesting because not so many people actually sing in Siswati, so it's quite intriguing. I'm featuring some few musicians like Tulile Zama from HOH, Hills Overhead, and Nati, who just won Crown Gospel Awards Best Producer, and also Jabulo on percussion and Mzua on drums. We have a lot of compositions that we have prepared for that day.
Acclaimed photographer Dr. Peter Makubani's latest exhibition titled A Struggle Without Documentation is No Struggle opens at the Absa Gallery in Johannesburg on Wednesday. The exhibition covers photographs taken from 1954 to 1994, covering historic moments in South Africa's history.
Why the title, A Struggle is No Struggle Without Documentation?
I kept that word from June 16. I was photographing a group of boys coming running, and I stopped. They stopped, and I said, "Please let me photograph you." Someone in the middle of those boys said, "I know him." And I then said, "A struggle without documentation is no struggle." Because in the years to come, people will want to know what was June 16, and you don't have a record. So this is very important. One out of the blue said, "I know him. Let him do what he wants to do." This is how I survived during 16. I've had exhibitions all over the world. You know, but for South Africa, I had to sit down. It wasn't that easy. You know, it wasn't easy because here you are dealing with a country that had divisions. You had black people on the one side, you had white people on the one side. I'm not saying that white people and black people have now come together. Yes, partly they have, but there's still a lot that has to be done.
What would you say have been one of the highlights of this illustrious career?
Is to be chosen by late President Mandela when he returned from prison to be his photographer until he becomes president. We went all over the world with him. It was, you know, I said to myself, you know, working hard, you may think that people who are in prison don't know what you are doing, yet they know. Out of the blue, I did not expect that. He told the ANC that the person that I want to accompany me is Peter Makubani. I was elated, I tell you. I met so many leaders. More doors were open for me. It is through my hard work and the understanding of people, the respect I have for other photographers, the respect I have for other writers as well. That showed me that with respect, you can go a long way.
It's been to Munich, Milan and New York. It showcases the work of more than 70 South African artists and photographers. It's an exhibition titled Rise and Fall of Apartheid, Photography and the Bureaucracy of Everyday Life. It opened at Museum Africa on Wednesday. The exhibition, which is one of the biggest to visit Museum Africa in Newtown, is presented by the International Center of Photography based in New York under the leadership of Mark Lebel. The exhibition presents the culmination of over 10 years of research and showcases over 800 images, 27 films and a book. Rise and Fall of Apartheid, Photography of the Bureaucracy of Everyday Life is curated by Oku Enenzo, who also directed the 2015 Venice Biennale. He co-curates with art historian, critic, curator and docu-filmmaker Rory Bester. The show is on until the 29th of June, and for more information you can visit www.riseandfallofapartheid.org. The National Film and Video Foundation has announced the date for the 8th Annual South African Film and Television Awards. The 4th and the 5th of May are the dates to diarise, and the event will take place at the Gallagher Convention Center in Midrand. And that's all the arts news we have for you today. There's obviously more where that came from, so do make sure you catch us next time. Until then, it's a goodbye from us.